we have this, which is something a little bit more funny from Tree or Try. He's awesome. I love it. Very good energy, very good vibes. And he says in here, Blizzard left a stone about Path of Exile 2's huge popularity, and he has Rod Fergusson in here. I also made a video talking about the Rod Fergusson tweet, so I am curious to see other people's perspective, because I have seen several interpretations for this tweet. My interpretation was that he's trying to detach himself from the ARPG isometric genre, because he's seeing how PoE 2 is exceeding expectations and going so much over D4 that he's trying to detach himself from the genre to say we are not directly competing, we are not direct competitors, but because we are doing two different things, and that way he makes D4 not look so bad in comparison because I am doing another thing. I think that is a massive copium, and that is why Diablo 4 sucks, because they don't take accountability. They are not competitors. They don't say they are kicking our ass. We have to upgrade. We have to do things better. That was my personal interpretation of the tweet, but I have seen other interpretations. I want to see what Try has to say in here, so let's do it, brother.
To make this video, but am now for two reasons. The first is this tweet right here from the Diablo 4 General Manager, Rod Fergusson, which we'll analyze and attempt to explain in a moment. The second is Moana Exile's Talkative Try here talking about an absolutely stunning series of events that occurred on the biggest day for Path of Exile ever. I needed to document this. I needed to showcase this to everyone, and I need you to understand. This is not a video trashing Diablo 4, its players, or its developers. It is merely examining a pivotal piece and moment of AR.
That is important to know, because D4 and this, I have a lot of videos where I say, brother, I love D4, but this is bad, this sucks, this has to be fixed, they have to improve, and then people say, oh, you just whine, you don't say anything of value, you are just whining on the internet. If you don't like it, don't play it. That is why the game sucks, brother, because of people like you, brother. We have to tell them what is wrong so they can fix it, bro.
I don't have enough energy.
RPG history and immortalizing it here on YouTube. November 21st, 2024 shall go down in the annals of gaming legend, and it's not because D4 is bad, it's because the way Blizzard maneuvers their non-existent relationship with their closest competition, Grinding Gear Games and Path of Exile 2. So please, no need to spam D4 bad in the comments. Let's break everything
D4 bad, brother.
November 21st, 2024 was the day Grinding Gear Games unveiled what Path of Exile 2 would look like in early access. They revealed its vast endgame systems like the Atlas and endgame-only pinnacle bosses like Zesht. They explored each of the 12 Ascendancy classes available upon early access launch, including the Infernalist for the Witch, which allows you to summon a demon dog and transform into Lilith. They also addressed something spicy in the most kind and articulate way possible. We'll revisit that in a bit. First, we need to note what else happened on November 21st at the exact same time as GGG Live, Diablo 4's mid-season rundown stream on its 7th season. Of note, Diablo 4 is getting the Armory in Season 7, allowing you to store builds in-game. That's pretty rad. Aside from...
I said this in my other video, but I will say this again. In terms of Diablo 4 itself, contained within the Diablo 4 walls, the Season 7 announcements was pretty cool. It looks like it will be a pretty cool season. A lot of cool stuff coming. But when you go out of D4 and you see the whole landscape of gaming and all the things that you could be doing, moreover, taking into consideration PoE 2 is coming out, then you see that D4 bad, right? In terms of D4, yes, Season 7 is a cool season, but D4 is bad. I love D4, I like the game a lot. But brother, you have to admit that they are being left behind with this PoE 2 stuff, brother. PoE 2 is looking insane. Diablo 4 has a lot of problems. And I don't want people to say that it is because of the casualness of whatever, because casual means that you have less time to play the game. It doesn't mean you are brain dead. And Blizzard treats casual players as idiots. Casual players are not idiots. They are just casual. That is not the same thing, brother. They are making it seem like this is a synonym. Casual equals idiot. No, that is not the case, brother. Casual just means these people are working, have families, they are doing other stuff in their real life, and they don't have that much time to play. But that doesn't mean that when they are actually playing, they are idiots and you have to hold them all the time. They can figure out complex systems, dude. They can. And this is one of the biggest problems with D4. So this whole perspective when you say, no, D4 sucks because it is too catered towards casuals. It is fine that D4 is catered towards casuals. I support that that philosophy that they want to target that market, of course. But you don't have to make it brain dead to cater to casuals. That is my... A good game designer can create compelling and challenging and complex systems that are catered toward casual players. I think this is possible for sure. Yo, Maverick, how you doing, my dude? I think I have more hours on D2 than D4. That is an example. That is an example. Someone could say, yes, of course, because D2 is the older game and you probably have been playing it for a long. But D2 is, well, I don't know. D4 is like a blasting game, right? There is a lot to say in there. To be honest, I have a lot of free time, but I suck at gaming, always on easy mode. I understand that, but that is also the other way around, right? Like you could go hard, but you think that you are bad at the game, so you go easy, right? But you could dedicate a lot of time to the game. So this is the other way around from what I am trying to say, which is also the point. Not everything, it doesn't mean that if you have less time to play the game, you can't figure out complex systems. And it also doesn't mean that people that have a lot of time will figure out these systems. This is a broad spectrum. You can't categorize everywhere and makes those broad generalizations. Just make a good game, brother. Just make a good game. You don't have to go hard. Just play the game and you will get good. Exactly. I completely agree with that.
That there were no other large announcements, and there wasn't really supposed to be. But they chose to schedule their reveal stream to match up with the big Path of Exile 2 reveal, and here were the results by the numbers. On November 21st, Path of Exile 2 on Twitch popped off. The category peaked at 475,351 viewers, with 711 total channels streaming the reveal. This is absolutely massive. Even my live stream was crazy on Twitch. These numbers are amazing for me without raids. 490 max viewers, 397 average on a 5.4 hour live stream, with
nice.
over 150 Twitch subs and 362.
Happy for you, my man. Try makes awesome videos, so I am happy for him that he's popping off because he deserves it. He's grinding and he makes good videos.
Follows. On YouTube, it was even wilder. I had a peak of 1,583 people watching live on YouTube, which is just insane. Other larger creators had even more massive volume, like Darth Microtransaction, whose stream went bananas on Twitch. He had 21,382 max viewers
that is
and
insane,
58,517 unique viewers. Now, let's look at Diablo 4 on Twitch to compare, again, by the numbers. On that day, their peak viewership was 23,217. That's pretty good for a mid-season stream and a preview of Season 7. However, what I think is more interesting is the larger view, as I think this feeds into the tweet we'll discuss in about 30 seconds. Diablo 4 viewership peaked on May 31st, 2023, with 941,488 viewers on Twitch. Almost immediately, it trails off and has never recovered at all.
Of course.
In the slightest.
Of
D4
course.
is Blizzard's other big live service, content-rich game alongside WoW, which also peaked years ago in 2019 in viewership, but remains steadier than Diablo 4. Funnily enough, if you compare Path of Exile to Path of Exile 2 on Twitch, this does not happen as it does to Diablo 4 and World of Warcraft. Path of Exile's viewership remains very steady every single time they release a new expansion or update.
Nice,
It's
good for them,
phenomenal.
bro.
So, obviously, Diablo 4 is flailing. Blizzard is somehow left stunned about Path of Exile 2's popularity. And here is our...
Which I hope, what I hope this means is that this fires or creates a fire under Blizzard's ass, and they say, brother, we can't be left behind. We have to improve this bullshit. And then they improve Diablo 4. And then we have 2 awesome games to play. That is what I want to happen. But don't know if Blizzard will do it, because when you see the tweet from Rod Fergusson, he seems like he's trying to just ignore this and keep doing what they are doing, and that pisses me off, brother.
Our only other exhibit of this truth. The tweet by the senior vice president and general manager of all things Diablo at Blizzard. Feels like the genre of ARPG, in quotations, is starting to mean a lot of different things. Much like, in quotations, Souls-like, and, in quotations, roguelike. I wonder if we could normalize, in quotations, Diablo-like, for ARPGs that follow the Diablo formula. You don't need to go check yourself. It's real. It's verified. It's a certified
This is one of the most stupid things that I have ever heard, brother. I already explained it in the other video, but it has so many layers. ARPGs mean a lot of things. Elden Ring is an ARPG, for example. It doesn't only mean the isometric view. It is any role-playing game where there is action combat. We have appropriated the term from the isometric view, but in the gaming space, it is also used for other things. The Diablo-like thing has been used for 20 years since Diablo 2. Now people use it less because Diablo 3 sucked and Diablo 4 sucked, but it was used a lot for games that were like Diablo 2. For example, for PoE 1, when it came out, they used the Diablo 2 comparison. So you are not making sense in here, brother, and that is just nitpicking the wording. But when you go into the deeper meaning, it is what I said earlier. You are trying to detach yourself from the fact that Diablo 4 sucks, they are beating your ass, and you are trying to say, no, they are doing a different things than us, so it is fine that we are sucking. No, it is not fine. Do better.
fresh and hot take from the leader of Diablo and Diablo 4. Breathe that in. I'm not too sure how to honestly communicate how wild this is. My perception is that Rod either lives in a bubble or was aching for some fire to fly his way to get some engagement.
I believe it is the second one, and also what I said. It is the second one and also what I said.
You'd imagine after your biggest competition showcases something incredible, concepts made reality, that WoW haters, lovers, and people not even interested in Path of Exile 2, that you'd take a step back and say, huh, I bet we could learn from that. Instead, Rod decided to retreat into this tweet. He stuck his head in the sand like an ostrich and started to scream. Let me just read it one more time. Feels like the genre of ARPG is starting to mean a lot of different things.
And by the way, if you are pissed off because they are beating your ass, Rod, the only thing you have to do is do better. This is entirely your fault. You have been working on D4 for a long time. You are in charge. You are the person that can make the most changes. This is your fault, bro. This is your fault. You can make the game good, and you have decided to do the absolute bottom of the barrel minimum. That is what is happening in here. So you have no one to blame but yourself.
Much like Souls-like.
And I am saying this not to bash on you, but with tough love. I want you to improve, but the only way to improving is acknowledging what is going wrong. Blizzard is so out of touch with their player base, is insane. I sometimes don't want to say that people are out of touch, but brother, it seems so. It seems so because how much time have we been telling them what the problems are with D4, and they keep making the same mistakes over and over again, or at the least when they improve stuff, they ignore the stuff that we are saying is the problem. Bro, the skill tree sucks. The Paragon board sucks. The itemization that everything is revolving the legendary aspects and the uniques sucks dick. There is no end game. There is no build variety. Do something. Nah, they don't give a fuck about any of that, dude.
And roguelike, I wonder if we could normalize Diablo-like for ARPGs that follow the Diablo formula. The crazy thing is, the dude is right. The genre does mean many different things, and Diablo's biggest competitors are doing something incredible and bold. But instead of giving them a kind bow or not saying anything, Rod went out and seriously pitched other games be implicitly named after the series he currently oversees, and if they stray too far, then they cannot be compared to his precious Diablo. This is hilarious, and what so many people have said for years in a way about Diablo 4 and Path of Exile. But now the dude in charge is saying it too in a thinly veiled manner, and it's the only thing he'll ever say about Path of Exile and Grinding Gear games. Essentially, he's trying to say Path of Exile 2 isn't a Diablo-like anymore, so it cannot be compared to Diablo 4.
Exactly what I said. He has my same opinion. So finally, I find another person that took the same interpretation. So that indicates me that I am not insane. That is one of the possible meanings of this shit. Okay, nice.
Stop trying to match up the two, which is just absolutely massive cope. What's even crazier is the term Diablo-like has been around forever, since the days of Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. And it's how Grinding Gear games described their own game. They said it was a spiritual successor to Diablo 2.
What I said earlier, cool, nice.
Onward. They recognized the genius there. They captured it and they built on it, and now they've created a darn good sequel to their first game, putting all the care, love, and effort into it that they needed to. Rod Fergusson is scared. He is threatened, so he's lashing out. I've dealt with this in creating content on YouTube and in my workplace. It's plain to see. Grinding Gear Games has made something tremendous with Path of Exile 2. It has Blizzard shivering,
the game looks insane,
and the game isn't even out yet. You know what this reminds me of? All the game developers coming out and saying to not expect games in line with the quality of Baldur's Gate 3 after its tremendous success.
I remember that. It was so stupid. It was like, oh, you want us to make a good game? We can make such a good game like Baldur's Gate 3, bro. You can expect us to keep slamming bangers like that. What the fuck are you talking about? All games should be good. How do you have so little respect for your art, brother? It is like, imagine a musician or a band saying, oh, don't expect every album to be good. What the fuck are you talking about? Have some respect for your art, dude.
That's on release. BG3 was an anomaly, a standard other devs shouldn't be held to. That was a hilarious line of logic, and Rod seems to be going down the same path and sniffing the same copium. What's even juicier is that Grinding Gear Games acknowledged this issue in the ARPG genre, that the ARPG genre has problems with endgame content delivery and iterating on systems.
And that is why they focus on the endgame for the early access, and they even released the incomplete campaign because they knew that having a robust endgame or a robust endgame would be much better for the game than just having the complete campaign in the early access, because the biggest problems that other games have faced, like Diablo 4 and Last Epoch, have been a lack of end game when they launch. So, well, Diablo 4 still has no end game a year and a half later with a paid expansion on top. It is insane, bro. I know that people are tired of the D4 complaining and the D4 comparisons to PoE2, but this video is surrounding that, so it is fine that we do it in here. But it is insane that the early access game has more end game than the game with a year and a half since launch, and with an expansion, a paid expansion on top. It is insane, brother. So yes, the PoE2 developers nailed it when they said we have to improve end game because this is what people want.
Systems, and they decided to refocus their efforts on doing exactly that for their huge launch. Something that they didn't do with Path of Exile 1, Diablo 4 hasn't done, and Last Epoch didn't do either. They recognized this and decided to act instead of just complaining. Immediately as he saw the genius Path of Exile 2 presentation, he knew what could potentially happen. If Grinding Gear Games succeed in their goal, crafting a game just as deep as Path of Exile 1, with a far better onboarding system, with clear explanations of crafting, skills, the campaign, endgame, and everything else, Diablo 4 is cooked, and Rod, thereby, is also cooked. Path of Exile 2 is looking stellar, and he knows it. Coincidentally, I'm chatting with one.
I don't don't want them to be cooked. I just want them to think that they are cooked and make a better game. And then I have PoE 2 and D4, and I have 2 awesome games to play. That is what I want to happen in here. Jazzarus, yo, come on, my man. How you doing, brother? How you doing, my dude?
One of the people in charge of Path of Exile 2 live on Twitch and YouTube on November 26th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time,
That
11
happened
o'clock
yesterday.
p.m. CET.
That happened last night,
If
I
you'd like
believe.
to tune in live, make sure to subscribe here on YouTube
I have to watch
or follow
that
me
interview.
on
I haven't
Twitch.
watched it.
Additionally, like the video if you ended up liking it. It really helps and it's
I liked
completely
it,
free.
brother.
I'll see you in the next video. Stay sane, my fellow Exile.
Brother, that was an awesome video, Try. That was an awesome video, and I feel vindicated because you gave a similar interpretation to the tweet that I had. And I didn't see anyone else having that interpretation. So for a moment there, I thought that maybe I am insane and I am interpreting this the wrong way. But now you had a similar interpretation, so I am not crazy. I am not crazy, brother. And again, if Blizzard and D4 is cool, that is not what I want. What I want is for them to take this insane launch that PoE is having and saying we have to improve our game, and then we have 2 good games to play. That is what I want to happen.